Ashes to ashes.
Hey, and welcome to the first episode of Till Death Do Us Part podcast, where we explore everything related to death, funerals, stories that connect all of us. I'm your host, Mike Hamlar from Virginia. We have a great panel today. We're going to be here. This all started off from a text group. So we're really excited to see you all and hear your comments. So we're going to go around the horn today and just introduce ourselves. We're going to start with Wendal up in the center in the middle. Go ahead, Wendal.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Wendal Givens from the great state of Virginia.
VA.
We're glad to be on here tonight amongst colleagues and friends as we celebrate friendship. We all have one thing in common. That's we love funeral service. At our hearts, we love what we do. It's not a job. It is a ministry to us. So first of all, we do that. We have that in common. We love funeral service. And it's a good time for us to come together. It's going to be a lot of laughs, but a lot of information for the community, a lot of information for those who are watching, who may know a little bit about funeral service, but want to know a little bit more on what we do from day to day. So we're glad to have everybody with us this afternoon. And I'll turn it back over to Mike.
All right, thanks, Wendal. We'll hear more about Wendal later. Now we're going to go to Reid, Mr. Reid, and for another VA. Let's go.
We made it out the group chat. We made it out the group chat. Oh, what's up, everyone? Hey, you know I'm the class clown at all times. My name is Warren Reid. I'm from Farmville, Virginia, and it's just good to be here. That is a joy that we have. We all share the same passion, which is funeral service, and we are happy to share that with you with different topics. And it's just great to be here and invite your friends and just let's have a good time.
All right, thanks, Warren. Like I said, 3 VAs at the top. Then we go down to the bottom a little bit. So Miss Tiffanie, the princess from Philadelphia, PA.
Hi, everybody. I am Tiffanie Wood, licensed funeral director of over 25 years here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I am also a licensed insurance agent. So that's one of the things that we're going to be getting into, talking about pre-need and things of that nature. So we are so happy to be here to inform you guys on stuff in this industry. As Wendal said, things that you may know, but a lot of things that you don't know. And we're here to give it to you real.
Real, that's right. That's what you're going to get from all 6 of us. Real. All right, so now going down to the man from Texas.
The little man.
Adrian.
Well, welcome and hello, everyone. Once again, like my brother said, we made it out of the group chat, y'all, but we are super excited. I am Adrian Turner out of Dallas, Texas. Listen, we are excited. We're glad that you all are here. Please share, and make sure that you interact with us because we do, again, have a lot of news that we want to give to y'all. Some you know, some you may not know, but definitely some that you need to know. So, hey, enjoy.
Hey, right. Adrian, make sure you raise your camera up. We only see the top of your head.
It's only getting started, my friend. Only getting started.
That's strike one.
Clean.
He gets 3. He's 3 episodes. He gets 3 an episode. So now we're gonna go to the mother down at the bottom corner down there, Miss Charmaine Brown from Maryland.
Yay! I'm excited. I'm really excited. Like Warren said, we out of the group chat. We've been talking about this for a minute, and we finally brought it out. I am Charmaine Brown from out of Baltimore, Maryland. Been in the game in these streets for over 30 years. Been licensed right close to 30 years, but grew up in the industry. So basically close to 50 years being in the funeral industry and around. Been in and out of different organizations and associations, and it's a lot to see, and it's a lot that I have learned and still are learning to be able to educate folks. I like to keep things real. I'm very cut straightforward with things. So you're going to get some rawness that your professionals want to say to you professionally, but sometimes you have to hear it straightforward, that for cleaner words, straightforward. So I'm looking for these next couple episodes. We have something in store for you this evening as well. For the first tool, that's the most important. Mike, I'm finished for now.
All right, you heard that for now. The mother
Come
will
on,
speak
mother.
again. All right, and I'm Mike Hamlar, your host from Roanoke, Virginia. Been licensed in the funeral game over 21 years. So if you look at this group of folks, we have probably over 150, 160 years of combined.
You can count that high.
Experience today. Y'all did name me the athlete, so you know we gotta go with it. There's some smart jocks out there too. We go jump right into it though. But yeah, this made it out the group chat. So everybody want to know, how did this start? And Warren did start off and said we made it out the group chat. So we started at the National Funeral Directors and Morticians Association national conventions, and we were all together, and then we just built this bond that nobody can break for the six of us. We just, every time we get together, it's like we've been together the whole year. It's just really fun, really great that we've built that, and we have that relationship and fellowship. So that's how it started, all a group chat, and then here we are doing a podcast, which we've been talking about for a long time. So so to God be the glory, we got it done. So amen on that. Amen. So we're going to jump right into things today. So one of the things we wanted to talk about is pre-need. A lot of folks don't understand what pre-need really means and why is it important. And as Charmaine says, we're going to give it to you real. So a lot of things your funeral director or your local representative wants to tell you, but they can't. So we're going to go ahead and share that today. And I believe Mother's going to go ahead and kick us off with pre-need. So go ahead, Mother. Go on and enlighten us a little bit.
So pre-need, or get your house in order, or the rough side of the mountain, get your together. See it at the bottom. There you go. Get your in order.
That's right.
That's how we're going to give it to you today. So your pre-need can be done several ways. Get your in order.
That's right.
That asterisk there just
put the extra.
My eye.
And before we get started, we must show you this disclaimer. So the disclaimer of this podcast: all views are our individual views, not any representation from our firms, our families, our fraternities, or anything. So this is just us being us.
I'm saying what I said, and I'm saying.
You see the disclaimer at the bottom is there. So if anybody say anything, here you go. We got it. Went through a couple of times, so now we're gonna take that off. So now we're gonna talk about get your stuff in order. Let's go.
Get your in order.
That's right.
Not stuff. Get your in order.
In order. So pre-need can be done on different ways. One, go into your favorite funeral home and start making payments towards your contract. Two, get some insurance. First thing, get some insurance. But there's certain funeral homes that will offer a pre-need product when it comes to insurance. If your loved ones are going into a nursing facility, there's different paperwork in different states that you have to handle in order to sign over your insurance, which most states will allow you to do a irrevocable trust. So when it comes to pre-arrangement, just check with your local funeral director and ask them what your state laws are. It's different all around the country. Throughout our conversations, we've learned that our states require different paperwork when it comes to handling that. Here in the state of Maryland, if any of my colleagues and any local folks are on here in the state of Maryland, you can do an irrevocable trust with an irrevocable pre-need assignment with your insurance if someone is on a spin down, meaning they have to qualify for Medicare or Medicaid. Or you can come to the funeral home. If people have cash, the safest place to put your cash is in a funeral home irrevocable trust account. That money cannot be touched by the funeral home's everyday operating expense. And also in the state of Maryland, it's kind of hard to get it out. So either you're going to need a certified or notarized letter from the individual or their power of attorney to give it to the bank in order to close it, or you're going to have a death certificate. But the funeral home cannot go back to that account.
Now, Charmaine, you made a great point. The money should go into another asset, another account, whether they're using a trust or another account. It can't go into the operating account.
Right.
Okay. All
right. And a couple states can't intermingle. Meaning,
right. You can't commingle funds. That's illegal in Virginia.
Right. You can't pay the funeral home by credit card. You have to write a check or a money order directly to the funeral home, and then it gets deposited into your account. Some states you can't pay the funeral home with a credit card and it sits in their account, and then you hope they put it into their irrevocable account. So certain states you have to go directly to the bank for that irrevocable account. I'll let someone else mention, your portion.
All right, who want to jump in?
So in reference to what Charmaine was saying, we plan for everything else in life. We got baby showers, we plan for weddings, we plan for the unexpected, even in life, the unexpected things that happen, and we plan for that. But we very rarely plan for death. We don't know what happens at that point.
You got homeowners insurance. You got
we got homeowners insurance.
You got insurance on that weave.
All of that. But we very rarely plan.
Did she say she had insurance on her weave?
Oh God!
What'd she say?
So,
and your cell phone.
That's a Philly thing. So it's important. We just don't realize the value of preparing for funeral services at that time. So nobody knows what you want like you. That's what I always say. Even your spouse. What if Mike's wife picked him out a blue and white casket so he can look like a Sigma at the end of the day? Would he want that? No. He probably wants something purple and gold.
Look, you see that right there, right? My line name, The Undertaker. Number 2. Omega Psi Phi. There you go.
Knows what you want like you do. That's one of the important things about pre-planning. It's your own gift to yourself. Not a gift to yourself only, but a gift to your family. That's less they got to decide, less they got to do. It's a burden lifted off of them because mama already knows what she wants, and she's told the local funeral director, I want a wood casket and I don't want a metal casket. I want to be cremated. I don't want to be buried. So those things are important. It's all reasons why we should pre-plan. And people think, well, you got to be old to pre-plan, or you got to be of it. No, everyone needs a plan in place. Whether you want to go in a mausoleum, whether you want to be buried in the cemetery. So all of that's important. So when we think about pre-plan, it's just not for old people. It's for everyone. Young people. It's just a tough conversation. Even when you're in a marriage, your children. It's tough to talk about death, but it's a must. We got to do.
But let's be honest. Why is it tough? Why is it tough? This is the inevitable. We all know that this is going to be what it is. We talk about everything else so freely. What makes this the conversation that nobody wants to talk about?
Because it's a personal thing.
You're going to die.
Personal thing. It's a personal thing. I think that everybody deals with death differently. Everybody deals with it differently, and they just kind of like they feel like if we talk about it, then it's just like it's gonna happen.
But first, they need to acknowledge that they're gonna die.
You're gonna die.
But you can't get out of here alive. Life, you don't get out alive.
I'm going up in the I'm going up in the rapture.
Caught up to me.
Wait a minute. Yeah. One of my coworkers, one of my guys at my job, that's his thing. He said he's going to be caught up in the rapture. He's not going to know none of this. I'm like, okay, sir. Okay. All right.
You better get a pre-need. You need a pre-need on.
But you know what? I think also, one of the biggest things is that why people necessarily don't want to talk about it. We have to understand that a lot of people, when it steps into a maturity thing and a prioritizing thing, people ain't gonna feel like they don't want to spend that money. They feel like it's not necessary. Oh, I'm not sick. Oh, I'm not old. These are the two factors that, folks linger on. You feel like you got to be at a certain age to do it. Like we said, you feel like your health has to be at a certain place and point to do it. No, instead of going and spending that money on that shirt, them pair of pants, them pair of shoes, you have to want to prioritize that money to put it to a pre-need or to a life insurance.
Right. It's got to be just debunked. Like, we need to make people understand that no matter what age you are, this is something that you need to take care of. And I say it because us as funeral directors, we sit on this other side of the table in front of these families who their loved one had nothing, no policy, no nothing. They're sitting across the table from you, looking for you to get the breakdown.
And blame you because they don't have no money.
Right, because they don't have any money. They don't have they're in order. Mm-hmm. They're looking for us to break them down on something when we still got bills to pay. We still got payroll to make. We still got all kinds of stuff that has to happen when it's a responsibility of not only the decedent, but the decedent's family to make sure that everybody in their household has some sort of coverage.
Right.
Something is better than nothing.
Right.
So this is what I want to say. I want to say this. But I also want to take this time to welcome the 21 people who are watching us right now in our first episode.
Welcome. We appreciate y'all.
21 people on here.
Let's double it. Let's double it.
I do want to say this. It's important to know that if you do a pre-need, that is an individual company. That money does not stay within the funeral home. So if you have a falling out with your favorite undertaker 10 or 15 years down the line, that is a policy that you can take wherever you go. It is for your family to know where it is. That is money set aside for your funeral or your burial arrangements wherever you are.
So hopefully
Bottom line
heard
is
that. Everybody heard
transferable.
that? All pre-needs are transferable.
They're
so
transferable.
If you live in Virginia, and then next thing you know, you want to move to Dallas, Texas. Out with my man Adrian out there. You go to wherever firm he's at. You can take the money, and the funeral home cannot deny you that right.
But the other thing is, it's like a win-win because the fund has interest. So if I put $5,000 aside for whatever I want, listen, my wife knows I want to be planted in a tree. Don't give me no big service. Fix your face, Wendal. I want to be planted in a tree. I want a green burial. Y'all, you get your laughs out now. Send me back to the dirt.
Dirty.
Boy, that tree better have the biggest hump in America on it.
That's your one.
Terrible.
That's your one. I'm letting you know right now that is your one. That is your one.
Boy, I'm talking about, man.
Bless your people, Lord. Bless your folks, Lord.
Yeah, you better pray for them.
Man.
But that 5,000, if I put that 5,000 to the side in the year 2025, if I go out of here 10 years down the line, it's not still going to be $5,000.
Warren, let's talk about that 5,000. Let's talk about that while you're there. That's a good.
What you gonna get for 5,000?
Funeral, direct cremation is 5,000. So your tree costs more than that. Go to Home Depot. Your tree is more than that, honey. And you're gonna need one of them banana trees.
That's your one.
That
is your one.
All around.
Let me talk about how to keep things where they are. Go in and instead of
thank you, Miss Reid. It's going to happen.
They're gonna come in, Jay.
It's going to happen.
Buying big items when you get your taxes. Go drop some of your tax return onto your funeral bill. Here's what happens in the state of Maryland. In the state of Maryland, if you have a $10,000 policy, $10,000 contract, and you start making payments on that and it's paid in full before the time of death, you can just say you paid off in 4 years. You at that fourth year and it's paid off. If you live another 15 to 20 years and you die, your bill is locked in. So it's a great advantage for you as an individual. It's a disadvantage to the funeral home because we're locked into that cheaper rate. Mm-hmm. We cannot increase your contract if it's paid in full. I had a young lady who worked for the federal government. She moved here. She had no family. She was raised by a mother and grandmother. She's just here by herself. For 6 years straight, she came in and dropped lump sums to pay for her services. And instead of her doing like our other colored colleagues, leaving things to animals, she decided to leave certain insurance policies to foundations, leaving the church part of the beneficiary and leaving it to a scholarship fund instead of leaving it to her animal. So in a sense, I'm her next of kin in the event of her passing because there's no other family members, but I'm not a beneficiary of her stuff. She paid it in full, and this was done maybe 12 years ago. If she passed today, back then her funeral was $6,200 for what she wanted 12 years ago. Today, if we did that same type of service, not including any cemetery fees, today we would be at $17,500 for the same type of services that she wants today. So lock your stuff in. Stop buying TVs that your children going to do nothing with. Stop buying big ticket items and go drop your coins at a funeral home. And insurance does not lock you in because anything can happen with your insurance. Leave different people beneficiaries. However, Your beneficiary does not have to use the insurance to bury you.
That's the key. Who want to take it from there? Somebody pick that up.
So I had a situation like this recently where it was a spin down situation, and they ended up with a trust north of $21,000.
So explain spin down for those who don't know what Medicaid spin down is.
So you know that Medicaid does not want you to have anything. You can have no.
They want you destitute.
They want you destitute. They want you on the side of the road.
$2,000 or less.
$2,000 or less for the assets.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get everything out of your name in order for you to be taken care of. That is a segue into getting you some long-term health, long-term care insurance too. But still, you have to take everything out your name. So if you have $20,000 or $30,000 in the bank, the family has to find somewhere for that money to go.
And they got to go to a funeral home. They got to sign it, do a contract.
A funeral home.
It has to go into somewhere. That's why it's a
thank you, Miss Hawk. It's not a tree. Not a tree. Come on now. Not a tree. That's all right. Thank you, Miss Hawkins. Appreciate you down there.
It has to go into an irrevocable. Y'all gonna leave my tree alone. Okay. Do you want okay, so you want to know why I want to be a tree?
Why do you want to be a tree?
For one, I don't want to be embalmed. I don't want to be burned up, but I want to go back to the earth. God brought us out of the earth. I want to go back to the earth.
Okay, Elder.
That's a lot to be wrapping. You better be gone in 2 days.
Listen, and I got insurance out the yin yang. So my wife, even though she talk about some help me in this chat, she put me in the ground.
You go
use that money.
Help me.
That money.
Help me.
Use that money and live good.
You go.
So listen. Finish what you were saying, because that's so people need to know that, because they have to sign. They have to go to a funeral home and apply that with a funeral home, because if not, they'll lose it.
The reason that it has to go into an irrevocable trust is because once it goes into that trust, you cannot touch it ever again. Your family cannot touch it until death. So it is no longer an asset.
And you still, at the time of death, you still have to use all of it. You can't do a $10,000 policy and then come back at the time of death and try to do a $2,000 direct cremation.
If you're on Medicaid, if you're on Medicaid,
you have to spend all that money, or that money goes back to Medicaid.
Right. Yeah, IRS not coming after me.
Well, Warren, you were just talking about it in reference to the spin downs. When you're talking about a spin down in reference to transferring the money to the spin down, or whatever the case may be, a lot of people don't know that when you get that money and you set it aside, can you the insurance policy? Say, for instance, you have insurance policies. I have a $10,000 insurance policy that will be counted as an asset. So I have to. One option is making the funeral home irrevocable, a trust with the funeral home, so they can have the insurance policy. So it won't be an asset of yours. Some people say, well, "I'm not giving the funeral home my policy." You're moving it out of your name, basically.
Right.
So you don't lose it.
Right. And then that also helps, because your cash, if you cash it in, your cash value most of the time is less than your face value.
You won't get much for it.
So then you lose value there. So your funeral home and your funeral director, we're trying to help you, get that policy, just make it irrevocable. The money be spent on your loved one or on you, and then you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, that's a great point.
People at social services, they will look at that and find it. So people think you can't, they'll find the information.
They have 7 years to go back to.
Yes.
If you have a life insurance policy, I am literally dealing with this situation right now. You have a life insurance policy. The decedent passes, of course. The person who they have listed as their primary beneficiary was their spouse, who predeceased them.
Update the policy.
They never changed the policy. So,
oh my God!
So Tiffany hit on something very important.
Once
your beneficiary dies,
is deceased as well. There were no contingents. So this policy now goes to the estate. And guess what?
Not the state of Maryland.
The estate.
Yes.
The estate. Right. The estate.
So that's what Tiffany said is important, Mike. we got to do reviews at the end of the year, at the end of the quarter, or 3 years. If your beneficiary has passed away, you got to update it. Even check them. And even if you're leaving children under the age of 18 as your beneficiaries, they can't pay any funeral bills.
Yep.
Right. So they can't. I mean, I know you want to leave little boo boo your $50,000 because she your little boo boo, but someone else needs to be on that policy.
Or even if you have someone else as your beneficiary, and because at that time your child was underage, but now your child is of age. Now it's time for you to switch it to your child who's of age.
So
just like you at the bottom, get your stuff in order. So tomorrow, make sure you call your insurance agent and your stuff is up to date. That's your homework tomorrow.
So I literally wrote that down just now. I was like, while grandma is hiding money in between her mattresses
in the freezer,
in the freezer,
that cold cash.
Please don't press the issue. Don't take no for an answer. And you have to make it known to them, hey, I'm not trying to see what you got for my benefit. I'm trying to make sure that you have your affairs in order. Because it never fails. Every month, we end up with situations where somebody deceased is the beneficiary. And then you have to go you have to go with the estate, and all the kids have to sign, and then Uncle Boo Boo is in jail. So somebody got to go up to the jail and get with the warden so they can sign the paper. It's just too much. It's easier just to make sure that your affairs are in order. If the family's gonna fight about it, that's fine. Let them fight about it.
That's not only for insurance. That goes for your bank accounts. That goes for all other things, because you can have a bank account that you're telling your kids, oh, there's money in my account. Something happens to me, y'all just go get that money.
They can't get it.
Can't get it because your name's the only one on the account.
So also think about putting as POD.
A POD.
Yep.
And a POD, like I have a POD. My mom is my POD on my account. She don't know what's in my account. She doesn't get my bank statements. She doesn't see any of that. But if anything should happen to me, she can go to the bank with my death certificate and get out whatever she needs to get out of my account. Because
so you just leaving me and Miles out of this?
Miles already got my life insurance.
You leaving me and Miles out your money?
Miles is going. Miles gets
listen.
Policy.
Unabbreviate POD so the people
paid
know.
On death.
All right, next homework assignment. Tomorrow, go to your bank. Make sure you have a POD. Because you can't get it on the grave.
On your savings and checking account.
Yes. All your accounts.
Everything. You got to get it. All right, hold on.
If you win the lottery, make sure you put a beneficiary down if you get money.
Man.
Make sure you have a beneficiary if you win the lottery.
Put me down. I'll take it for you.
And Mike, let me say this. There is no will. There is no other power that can trump that POD.
Right. Correct.
That's it.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
Thank you, Miss Kelsey. Dropping them gems, Miss Charmaine.
Right. So another side point to get your in order is start telling your business. Some of us, besides them two little ones, the two babies, some of us are in the age bracket where our parents don't share their business. We are the children in the generation where we are told to sit down, go in the corner and sit down somewhere and shut up. So now it's time for us to start having conversations of telling your business. Tell us which floorboard that money is under. Tell us which cooler you're hiding that cash in. Start telling where your stuff is, because if nobody knows, the worst thing my dad say, I ain't worried about it from the grave. Well, damn it, I have to. Shit. I got two others with me, and it's just not me.
No, all I got to say, who named her mother? Who named her mother?
Look, she fits it. She fits it.
I tell my parents, I'm like, look, I need to know where A, B, C, D, E, F, G is. I need to know where everything is, because should something happen to either of my parents, neither the other one is not really going to know what to do, and they're going to all be looking at me to handle it. So not only do I have to deal with the grief of it, I have to try to figure out how to manage to still be the funeral director and make sure that they-ish is in order. So I need to know where all their stuff is. And I know they probably like, here she go again.
There she go.
I need to know where everything is.
No, that's serious.
And
That's
I'm
serious.
gonna
Like, and
tell
it's
you one
crazy.
thing that's not together. Funeral directors are the main ones that don't have their shit together.
Yes.
Let me say that again for the saints in the back.
So you just saying the
Funeral
whole word
directors
this time. You just
are the
saying the
main
whole word.
ones that don't have their shit together. I
Okay,
said
so we're not saying shh no more. It's just the whole word. Okay.
I am a man of the cloth.
yeah.
Lord.
They
Listen.
okay.
The deacon. Got the deacon, the
Oh,
baby.
listen.
Lord, we got mother here dropping them.
Well,
What she
listen,
said,
I
what
was
she
gonna
said
chime
is true. What
I
she
was gonna
said is
chime
true.
in on that, yeah, because the thing is, me and my mom talk like 2, 3 times a day, and that's kind of one of the biggest things that we talk about all the time. You know, she'll tell me, "Well, hey, baby, make sure you do this, make sure you know this," and I tell her, I said, "Mom, I got you." I say, you know, at the end of the day, you know the code to my safety deposit box, you know, even to the safe at my house, you know the code, and so I'm not worried about how you're gonna do this and how you're gonna do that. And we're talking about pre-needs. And we also have to let people know, like I said, at the same time, you need a pre-need and you also need life insurance. You need both, because at the end of the day, that pre-need is just for your funeral service. Because whatever's there, if it's 10,000, if it's 20,000, and your funeral is 18,000, guess what? $2,000 is gone. Can't nobody
Right.
get it. It's
Right.
unusable.
That's
So you need to make sure you got that life insurance as well. And like I was telling, like we was talking yesterday, man, I got like 3, 4 different life insurance policies. And what I did
Well,
was,
hell, you got 10 kids.
well, you need to mind your business, and so at the end of the day, what I did was,
Daddy,
Ooh, I'm the
That's
pappy.
my fault.
Look at him.
I the
That's
pappy.
I'm the pappy.
see, for one, see, that's what's wrong with you. That's what's wrong with you. But see, we didn't ask you why your arm was in a sling the last time we saw you in person.
Ooh.
So,
Move on to your kids,
Yeah.
sir.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
He said, okay.
yeah. You see that window? Now she want to run.
No.
Yeah,
Run
now
around
she want to
from
run. Now she want to run. And then I got another thing too, Warren. I need to know, is that a choker around your neck or what? Because I've been looking at, what is that?
I don't know. We leave it for my wife to pull.
Clap back.
All right. Next.
All right, look, we got another one. Go, Auntie Kate Wood,
You tried.
representing the Wood family. We watching you. There you
Yeah.
go.
Nevertheless,
So let me say this.
nevertheless, no. Nevertheless, make sure that when you get these insurance policies and or even these pre-need policies, if you have the money, so go ahead and pay up these premiums. Just go ahead and pay your premiums up. People don't think that you can do that. You can do that.
Yes. Yes.
Pay your premium up if you do it this
Talk
1
about
year. If
that.
you could do it for 2 years, go ahead and
Right.
pay that premium up.
And that's important. What Adrian said
Talk
is
about
really
that.
important. You got to do that. And one thing I know we haven't touched on, but it's the biggest disclaimer. When an insurance agent gives you or sells you a policy and they tell you from day one, you are covered, you are covered, you are insured, but you must live how many years?
2.
Some of them
2
are 3
years.
now.
Some are 3 if
Some
you're
of them are
high
3.
risk.
Some of them are
But
3.
most are 2 years
Mhm.
because some people think that you brought a policy and mama dies in February and you got in October, you're going to get that 50. It don't work that way. You have to live 2 years to get
That
the funds.
contestability period.
Contestability. And what happens if you don't? What happens if you don't? They're going to do a medical review.
What up, Philly?
Thank you,
And they're
Samira.
going to look, they're
Shout
going to
out
write the
Samira.
doctor
That's my
to
girl.
make
I
sure
love her.
you answered everything truthfully. So that takes some time. So you can't expect the funeral home to acknowledge and use a policy that's contestable.
Mhm.
Right.
I know
Because
every
all you're
funeral
going
home
to
is
get out
different.
of a contestable, the only thing you will get
Is the
out of contestable
premiums.
policy are the
110%.
premiums that you paid into it.
Right.
But
Exactly.
they
Right.
get
That's it.
usually about 100 to 110% of your premiums.
So
And
you are
and
covered
just
day one,
pay
but you
that
must live
premium.
2
Yeah.
years. You are
Pay
covered.
that. All they think
And
about is all they want is the money.
that's it.
Pay that premium. Pay that premium up for that 2 years, and you good.
So let me share this with y'all.
Go ahead, Mike.
So here's an
Well,
insurance thing.
no. Don't say you good because you got to
Well,
continue paying them because you
Yep.
start paying them.
well, right.
Unless you have a
Right.
paid up policy, right?
Right.
Right.
Continue paying it, of course, but just go ahead and pay that premium up. So
Yeah.
at least you got some kind of what they call it, a cushion.
Yeah.
So they have paid up policies too. So you can do like a 20-year pay. Once after 20 years is paid up, or you can just pay the whole thing
So,
and do that. But
Mike,
let me
that's
just share this
another
with
thing
you.
we need to.
Oh, go ahead,
Mike,
T.
that's another thing we need to touch on. The difference between a whole life and a term life.
Term life.
Yep, whole life and term. So we'll get to that in just a second. So we got whole life, term life. I'm making my notes. But let me just share this with you. For those that have small children or you're expecting, get your insurance policy, your life policy, get a whole life policy when that baby is 0. Your premiums are going to be little to nothing. You're talking about $15 to $25 a month when they are age 0.
Cheaper than that.
That policy, it depends on how much you want, but yeah, it can be cheaper than that. Get it when they're age 0. That's what I did for my kids. They're going to be set, and then they can borrow off that policy. That's a whole nother game that we can talk about, like investments and retirement. But let's get back to the
for Miles's insurance policy. I took it out while I was home on maternity leave. I paid $34.98 a year for his policy because I did it when he was 0.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't even a month old when I took that policy.
For my 4 policies I got now collectively, I pay like $120 a year.
Yeah.
Don't you take no policy out on me now. Don't you take no policy out on me. That's bad juju. Don't you take no policy out on me.
I just want to know who photoshopped that picture that you initially sent us to put on the flyer.
That's true.
Be face. But look, besides at a funeral home, besides at a funeral home, you can pre-need your cemetery as well.
Yes, all final expenses are for Medicaid spend down.
That's good, Charmaine. Let's talk about that. We're only she's in Maryland. We're in Virginia. Cemetery costs is so different, and we're only 2 states away. The cost can be just astronomical in reference to a state that's only across the line in Virginia, So let's talk about that in reference to cemetery expense. Some people think, well, if I got 10 or 20,000 for my funeral, I'm good. Cemetery expense can be anywhere from almost
7,000 to 8,000.
Yeah.
And look, not even different states. When we're in the same state, I'm in Southwest Virginia. So, cemetery costs were handled least expensive, about $2,500 for the plot and opening and closing.
Right.
You can get up to about $10,000 for the plot and opening and closing just here. I know you're in Richmond, Dinwiddie, that area, and Warrens and Farmville. You go to Northern Virginia. I mean, it's really expensive in the same state.
That's why it's important to review, because grandma is telling you, I got insurance. Everybody, they know what my insurance is. All right, well, grandma got $7,000 worth of insurance spread out across 5 policies.
Oh yeah.
From North Carolina Mutual.
From North Carolina Mutual.
Huff Cook, Seller's Life, Huff Cook, the Huff Cook man. How many people remember the Huff Cook man used to come by grandma's house once a week and collect $2?
Listen.
For that $1,000.
But she had insurance on everybody. Everybody.
Look, and he had it paper and it pad out and be writing in what date and how much it was.
And the policies are all torn up, but they're gonna bring them into the arrangements.
Thank you.
For real.
So let me tell you about Maryland. The cheapest grave I've called around for is $79.60 right now. That's one space. One opening and closing, and one concrete box. That's not a vault, a concrete box.
Don't even talk about Saturday fee.
Saturday fee is an additional $500 just because it's Saturday, and you better be in there before 12 o'clock. So that means half of us won't be doing Saturdays no more. We're in the metropolitan area. We're not having those Sunday at 3 o'clock funerals and going to the cemetery with the sun coming down their back.
They cut off at 12 o'clock.
On Saturday. Anytime after 12 o'clock is $200 per hour, thereafter up to 3.
Oh no,
it's 4:30 up here on Saturday.
We have a cemetery in our area. After 12 o'clock is $750. $750.
Cemetery just straight up Saturday.
Yeah, ours is $550 after.
And people talk about the funeral home being high.
Yeah, and guess what? You got to get to the funeral home before you get to the cemetery. Don't go to that cemetery first, because you can't get there without us.
It's not us, but I want people to realize that it's not us. Like I was talking to somebody on vacation.
Appreciate that, Kevin Hardy.
Yeah, thank you.
I was like, hey there. I was like, okay, we got a $20,000 funeral. Okay, but the funeral home might get 5 or 6 of that. The rest of it's going to vendors.
To spend
to
pay bills. Yeah.
Right.
Charmaine brought up an important point just a moment ago. People don't understand about
in Jersey, you have to pay the cemetery before you even get there.
Boy, New Jersey don't trust nothing.
Yeah, New Jersey got to pay. Go ahead, Wendal.
No, I'm just saying, Charmaine brought up about corporate cemetery. Some people don't know what that term means in like a city-owned cemetery, a corporate cemetery. Let's explain the difference in the cemetery. You know, we got your local church cemeteries, your family cemeteries. I know in the city, you don't have many family or church cemeteries. Most are corporate. So, Charmaine, if you can expound on about the difference of cemeteries, especially in the city.
So in the metropolitan area, most of our cemeteries are typically on the outskirts. They are owned by two different companies, Dignity and Serenity. And that's SCI, which is something corporation.
Service International.
Right, there you go. The SCI is them folks. The
other one is what? Is it North Star or something like that?
It's different corporations that owns the cemeteries, and you can tell by the tree being on one of the logos. So they all are within the same price range, and they are owned by a big conglomerate. Whereas I have a location in the suburban area. Most of our burials are done in a church cemetery or a small cemetery that happen to have some property that belong to the church. And those small cemeteries typically won't let you pre-need your space because it's first come, first serve, or they have some spaces to where only families own that space. So if you go, Adrian, I can't take you up there because people of the church already own the spaces or whatever. But in the corporate cemeteries, you can go wherever you want, when you want, as long as you have those coins. Right now, some of our spaces are starting at $26.95 just for the space. I did a seminar this morning with King Memorial Park, which is owned by the Marches. And currently, one space for them, if you go in there and pick that spot, it's $25.95. Some places opening and closing is between $24.95 and $29.95 for opening and closing. And the vault starting at $21.95. So you're almost at $8,000. And that doesn't
coming to us.
You have not been to the funeral home yet.
None of that's coming to us.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah, but people don't understand that though. Then they always want to, they get it so misconstrued. When you say, okay, well, you have to go by the cemetery to sign this. Well, I'm here. Why we can't sign everything? Well, that has nothing to do with us. It's two different separate entities, two different separate contracts, and of course, again, the monies. Is that money don't come to us. If the cemetery charging you $8,000, they getting $8,000.
Yeah,
and they ain't taking a dollar less.
And I'm not writing the check for that. I'm not including their costs in my contract.
Absolutely
at $8,000 because then I have to wait on your insurance to pay me to cover their check. You go and sign their paper.
Did everybody hear that? Everybody heard that, right? Y'all watching and listening, y'all hear that?
Thank
the
you.
cemetery bill is not going on my funeral bill.
Now I will say this. For you. I'll be honest, I've only worked, for really two firms throughout my career. I didn't give that earlier, but I've been in the funeral industry 23 years, proudly and very integrally. But the thing is that a lot of funeral homes here will add the cemetery to their bill, of course, and pay it all at, you just pay everything to the funeral home and they'll pay the cemetery. But again, it all depends up to a certain amount. But again, also it depends on what you're paying with, what type of insurance, right? Because a lot of us up here, we don't accept insurances. If you work for a school district, we don't accept those insurances.
Really?
We don't.
Why?
Well, they take too long to pay out.
And some school districts only pay to the beneficiary, and they don't take the time.
They take too long to pay out. And then also even a lot of funeral homes up here now, a lot of firms now, we don't even accept crime victims no more.
Never.
You keep saying up here like you ain't at the bottom of the country.
It's above him. It's
That's a good segue. That's a good segue into what we need to go to after Charmaine makes her point. We're gonna go back to the insurance thing.
Mike, you said they only got 3 per episode. They like 6 in, and you ain't let me loose
already.
Yeah, you ain't let me loose on now one of them yet.
Yeah,
I ain't said nothing, Adrian. Me and you good. Well, I ain't said nothing.
This is just the first episode. You can't.
It's coming.
Okay, because it's real life outside this computer box. You hear me? All right.
Because I ain't gonna talk about that damn tight ass Superman shirt you've been wearing. And you know
It's
we
You know
supposed
actually
to
what?
Super Mario.
we supposed to be we supposed to
Look,
be
I'm telling you, y'all
semi
better
business
tune in next
casual.
week. It's
Brother
gonna be even
moderator,
better
brother
next week.
moderator, brother moderator.
It's gonna be even better next week. We got about 15 minutes left of this episode. So
Yeah, we got
Tiffany, after you
15 minutes.
finish talking, then we're gonna go back to whole life versus term, because that is very
That's what I
important, unless she was
was-
segueing into it. All right, there we go. Go
You
ahead,
know,
Tiffany.
we got 15 minutes left. We're gonna only keep y'all an hour. But to get on whole life versus term life, it's simple as this. You take out a whole life policy, your policy is good pretty much until you die. Most whole life policies are payable up to age 99, 98, somewhere around there. We really not living that long. And if you do, you end up getting a check for the whole face amount of your policy at 99. So yay you. But term life, a lot of these companies are out here saying you can get a $200,000 life insurance policy for as little as $39 a month. Well, very likely that little bit of money is because it is a term life policy. What term life means is the policy is only good for a set amount of years. If you take out a 10-year term, a 20-year term, I have not really seen any 30 years. Most are between 10 and 20.
Mm-hmm.
That means at the end of that 10-year time period, all the money that you would have put in for your $250,000 life insurance policy, on the day after that 10-year term, policy is no good. There's nothing in it. It's zero.
Right.
It's done.
Right.
So if you
You'll renew at a higher rate.
I have families who come in, they say their loved one had a policy only to find out that it was a term policy and they had exceeded the time, they had lived past the time of the term. Now, you can convert a term policy.
Right.
However,
Exactly.
when you convert a term policy, you're now converting it at the age that you currently are. And so if you are 50, then now you're paying the 50-year-old premium, not the introductory premium, which was the $30-something a month. So, and I saw Warren's fingers, you still got to do that 2-year contestability period. So I always recommend folks screw term. Forget about term. It's nice. And this is how they feed it. Well, but they feed it to you by saying the money that you're going to save, you can put into something other that you know, an investment.
It's a play on the words. It's a play on the words.
Right. But because you're not saving anything, you're losing. You think you're
So
saving.
Tiffany, tell us, you are an insurance agent, right, Tiffany? Tell us, Tiffany, you are an insurance agent, aren't you?
I am.
You're an insurance. All right. Do you sell term or you sell whole life?
I sell whole life only and premium.
So Mike, can you put up Travis Wood's comment? He did have a question about where those funds go.
Here we go.
After the term is dissolved.
All right, who wants to take that one?
What happens
to your paid monies when the term expires? Is it dissolved? It's gone.
Paid monies to who? The insurance?
For the term.
It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
Can you cash it out for the premiums paid?
Not if it expires.
You better use the cash value, if any, before you die, and then they want you to pay it back.
Yeah, but the thing is, y'all, his question says when the term expires. So the thing is, you need to make sure you catch it before it even expires. First of all, yeah.
Which all goes
if it
back to what we
expires,
talked
it's
about.
gone.
Yeah, right. Which
That's
all
my
goes back
brother,
to what we
by the
talked
way.
about. You have to do a review of what your insurance needs are. You have to do that quarterly or yearly.
Yeah. Thank you, Travis, for the question.
Be careful of these accidental policies that JCPenney sells.
Oh yeah.
JCPenney's,
baby. JCPenney.
They not even in full business no more.
They sell accidental policies, accidental and dismemberment.
Well, how did they accidentally dismember their
down them steps?
Yeah.
And breaking it.
They used to give those accidental policies with them credit cards.
Meaning you got to break a limb. No, you got to die from breaking your neck from falling down the steps.
Right.
If you want accidental clause added to a whole life policy, do not have a separate accidental policy. Also, check your grandma's fire insurance. Some of them fire insurance have a WH on it as the VIN numbers of their policy, and they think it's whole life. No, it's a fire insurance. So you gotta go set grandma's house on fire in order for her to cash in on the
Yes. That's crazy. I just found out about that not too long ago, about that, how you got to check the fire insurance. Yeah.
So if you find Nana in the house, you take her to the closest flight of stairs.
Well, may my beautiful grandmothers forever
What
rest
we
in
were
peace.
trying
I don't
to
have
say
to worry about
tonight,
that. But yeah,
what we're trying to say tonight is just get some insurance. Whole life.
definitely get some
Term
whole
life
life, get some whole life insurance.
Just
He
have
has to be politically correct here.
Yeah, that's the deacon, y'all. The deacon has to get it right.
But I want to go back. I want to go back to something that Tiffanie said. So if a person, because I actually had this happen a few months ago, if a person turns 99, are they getting out their premiums?
No.
Or are they getting a face amount check?
The face amount.
They're getting the face value of the policy.
Now I've seen a policy.
$100,000 policy that's good to age 98, and you live to 98 in 5 days. New York Life is sending you a policy for $100,000.
Right. I've seen a policy. We had a pre-need where the lady outlived her policy. This lady ended up living until she was 104. The policy paid out her great old $7,000 that she had forever. And that was millions when she first took it out. So 7,000 was millions when she first took it out. So she came in and did a pre-need with us. But they also gave her some type of interest in addition to her $7,000. So she at the age of 99, they gave her all her money plus some interest.
How much?
A lot of times, sometimes they convert those to annuities.
Probably 50 cents a month.
50 cents a month.
Come on, mother. Now, sometimes they convert those policies to annuities when they hit 90.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a whole hog back then.
Mother done went and got her some cabbage and some red beans and everything.
Virgin.
Brother moderator.
Brother moderator, you are so Baptist.
Some okra and tomatoes.
They said okra. You love that okra, don't you, boy?
Hey man, y'all know I love my fried. Y'all know I love my fried okra.
What was that spot we had okra at? It was somewhere.
Spun Divots.
Was it
We was in Atlanta. Spun Divots.
Well, I will say this. We've had up to 41 people on this call. We got 7 minutes left. And I just want to thank y'all for being with us. I mean, it's been a great first episode.
No, it's definitely been a great first episode. I also want to thank everybody as well. Y'all listen, once again, y'all please follow all of our pages. We're on Facebook, Till Death Do Us Part. We're on Instagram, Till Death Do Us Part 6. We're on YouTube, Till Death Do Us Part 6. But of course, y'all please like, follow, and share. We are on every Monday, y'all, every Monday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, y'all. We just want y'all to be a part of this. Interact with us, bring your questions, bring your comments. You know what I mean? Be respectful, but definitely bring your comments.
Thanks, Pam.
We got a whole lot more.
And also share topics that you want us to touch on.
Share the videos, share topics, all of that.
Share the TikToks of these different services, because that's going to be one of our things, to where you have to have insurance to have a Barbie funeral. You have to have insurance to get that clear casket. We're going to
have to have insurance, Charmaine.
No, you don't have to have insurance.
You got cash money.
You got that money. We accept cash, checks, credit cards, all of them.
I take food stamps.
Thank you, mommy. That's my mom.
I take food stamps and $6 here.
Mike, let them know what the next topic for the next show is going to be.
I had somebody tell me that the clear casket looked like the deli counter.
The who? Oh,
the clear casket look.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. We still have 6 minutes, so
that's crazy.
Dougie Fresh, you're on.
What's the topic of our next session? Because this one's going to be fun, and it's going to be no holds bar.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
This is just a tip of the iceberg of what you're going to see on Till Death Do Us Part, the podcast.
Yeah.
And so next week, what do y'all want to talk about next week? I have it down right here. What we talked
Obesity.
about.
Obesity.
So we're going to talk about death and obesity next week.
Obesity. Putting Warren in the tree.
Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, you do not want to miss our next episode of Till Death Do Us Part, the podcast. It's going to be great. You know, like I said, we've been talking about this for a long time.
Thank you, Keisha. Yeah, listen, y'all, and don't get me wrong, y'all. We are true, integral morticians in the funeral industry, y'all. Don't get it wrong, but we definitely have fun. We actually like one another, and so that's why. And he didn't toot his own horn, y'all. But this whole thing came up from Mike Hamlar. He's the visionary over this whole thing, so he didn't toot his horn. So let me toot it for him. That's our brother. We love him. And this whole thing came from him. So, yes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. I just, like I said, enjoyed the fellowship. Been wanting to do this for a long time. And I think we have the right group of folks. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun.
And we'll be inviting some people in to have conversation.
Yes.
Other funeral directors who have their own podcasts and want to invite them in to share with us. So we haven't forgot about you. We'll invite you in so you can get.
Yeah, we're definitely bringing everybody. Hey, nobody's exempt. If you're willing, then we're welcoming.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Look at you, Princess. Look at you.
Man, I thought that joker was the dude out the Reading Rainbow. What was that host out the Reading Rainbow?
Butterflies in the sky. I can go twice as high.
Look, I'm telling y'all have no idea. We are real people too. So a lot of people see us as funeral directors and morticians, undertakers, but we have families and we just like to have fun. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to do this, just to show you all that we're real, right? You can talk to us, we can sit here, we can just go over things, and we can be goofy and silly too. Because most of us are. We really silly.
If we tell you not to step near the grave because the grave gonna cave in,
y'all seen that?
Don't step near the grave.
Get your ass back.
That happened at the cemetery.
We're not about to break up your family.
Back that ass up.
Oh man!
If y'all get to fighting on the service, I'm gonna be what? In the hearse.
Go back to the disclaimer. Disclaimer at the bottom. These are our personal views.
Right.
That
These are
me and that body
views,
is gone. Y'all can stay there and fight if you want.
And I'll leave you with this. Some of y'all macaroni and cheese dry.
Yo, that's gonna be a topic right there. Funeral food.
Funeral food. Oh my God.
You eat all the repasses on.
Can't you tell?
That's your 3. That's your 3, Barbara.
Well, no, you can. No, you really can't put that on her. You open the door for that.
Oh man, thanks, Byron. This is my brother Byron.
No, I
down there in the corner.
Yeah, but you can't put that on Charmaine. You open the door for that. Did anybody tell you to bring up folks macaroni and cheese?
You cannot eat everybody repast food because the fellowship halls, they ain't clean.
Nope.
Oh well.
That's a whole other topic right there.
Well,
yeah. Is there any other questions on the thingy here?
Yeah. So make sure that you comment, share with all your friends, let everybody know that what we're doing next Monday, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. We'll be right here on YouTube with the Till Death Do Us Part podcast.
Speaking on obesity and death.
Death and obesity and death.
Don't blame us because you can't fit. Right.
Let us pray.
Yes, take us out in the word of prayer. Take us out in the word of prayer.
All right, so final thoughts, everybody. We got about 60 seconds left. So anybody got any last parting words before we sign off here?
I love all of you. Support us.
Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thank you. Let all your folks know. Tell them to watch us next week. We want to keep this train going. We just want to keep everybody informed.
We're gonna keep it going.
A little bit of fun at the same time.
And also, if you have a business that you want to shout out, look out because we will be doing some business shout outs. There will be some spots that you'll be able to put your business. You see that little ticker at the bottom of the screen that was there with
the whole time.
It's going to go the whole time. If you have a business that you want to put out there and have exposure. You know, we're gonna have some packages coming out, so look out for that.
Yeah, look out for it. Look out
Absolutely.
for it. Anybody else got any last words before we sign off?
But all
Pray
they
us out.
said, everything they
Pray
said,
us out,
did all-
Wendal. Pray us out. Pray us out, Wendal.
Pray. All right, let's pray. God, we thank you
Quickly.
tonight for gathering us together for fun, fellowship, most of all, education for the community, togetherness. We thank you for every person, every firm that's represented tonight. And bless our families. We actually to bless every person on the call tonight. What we shared in laughter tonight, we hope that people will receive it in the way that it was given. Bless us and we shall be blessed. Keep us and we shall be kept. In whoever name you pray to, amen.
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 Thank you,
Lord.
And this is not
Till
you.
death,
Ain't
hey,
no
on
call.
till
behalf
death do us
of
part.
Charmaine the
Watch
mother,
between
Adrian the
me
man,
and
Tiffany
thee.
the princess, Warren Reid the baby,
Ah.
Wendal the deacon, Mike the athlete. We appreciate y'all. We'll catch you next week. Tune in.
Till death do us part, baby.
Till death do us part.